Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. I'm Steven Jotter, and joining me as always is Arman and Jake Watroba. And on today's episode, we talk about Christian Pulisic and his time at Chelsea. Now listeners, if you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and follow us at Uncle Sam's Soccer Pod. Continue to send in your feedback, your thoughts, we love it. And listeners, we are recording this Sunday before any of the MLS action. Stay tuned. Later in the week, we will bring you all the latest from Major League Soccer. Jake and Arman and myself will be glued to the TV Sunday night. Screw Cowboys and Saints. Guys, this is the most exciting part of the season.
It is, but I can't really agree with you on the screw Cowboys and the Saints kind of thing. I'll just have like 3 TVs on at once. Something like that.
Jake, you were in Vegas. Welcome back. How we doing? Did you get any strange tattoos, marry a stripper, or make $1 million?
No, I didn't do any of those things. But thanks for asking. I appreciate it. No, I lost some money betting on sports. As a matter of fact, I didn't hit anything. I missed every single bet. Football, baseball, MLS, you name it. Didn't go very well for me. So.
Oh, there you go. Now, listeners, again, stay tuned. Later in the week, we'll talk Major League Soccer. We also got an counter-attack international style coming later in the show, so stay tuned. Now, fellas, Chelsea beat Brighton 2-1 over the weekend, but it marked the 4th time in 5 matches that Pulisic started the game on the bench. Pulisic did play earlier in the week in a 7-1 thrashing of Grimsby Town in the Carabao Cup. Now, guys, here's the important stat. Pulisic hasn't played in 4 of Chelsea's last 5 matches. A little bit concerning, to say the least. Everybody on Twitter has a take on this. But he had a very interesting sit-down with NBC Sports Pro Soccer Talk.
Pulisic was asked by NBC Sports and Pro Soccer Talk about his current situation at Chelsea. And Pulisic explained, yeah, of course, it is very frustrating, but I will continue to work my hardest because I want to play. And, that's good to hear. You want to hear that from, your $60, $70 million man. But then Pulisic was asked, did he or has he received any feedback or advice from manager Frank Lampard on how to improve his play and get back on the pitch? And Pulisic said, not so much. He just said, keep working. And now I have to prove myself in training and try to get back in the lineup.
That's terrible. That's Frank Lampard saying, yeah, I really don't care, man. Like, I could give 2 poops about this American player at this club. I'm not interested in playing him. He's not my guy. I didn't sign him. I got some British youngsters that are making noise. I'm going to play the Brits.
Oh, that's 100% correct, Steven. That is 100% correct. And I guess you've kind of touched on it here, but I wanted to ask you guys. Listeners, question of the day. At Unc Sam Soccer Pod, Steven just touched on it. Are we concerned about Pulisic's current standing with Chelsea? Let us know. Arman, are you concerned at all?
Yeah, I am. Some of Lampard's comments are, I guess, a little concerning. I remember I was reading. He actually said Pulisic is a young player, as well as everyone is talking about Mason and Tammy and Fikayo. He's actually as young, if not younger than some of them. His chances will come. Well, Lampard's right. Pulisic's 21, Mason Mount's 20, Tammy Abraham is 21. The way he talks about Pulisic's a little weird, in my opinion. I'm reading between the lines a little bit, but it's like, oh, he's just this young player. But Mason Mount is not kind of this, I don't know, but Mason Mount's younger than Pulisic. And guys, let's not forget, Mason Mount, if I remember correctly, played for Derby when Lampard was manager. He was on loan. I think that familiarity might play a really big role with Lampard and Mount, having this chemistry with each other. And for Pulisic, look, you just got to take advantage of your opportunities, because, that's the only thing you can really tell him. It is a little concerning, though, because you'd expect the team to play a guy who they bought for $70 million, but I guess that's not how it works at Chelsea Football Club.
I mean, it is a big club. Chelsea is one of the most successful teams in this century in the Premier League. I mean, they've won trophies consistently. They've won all the big trophies in Europe, the Champions League, the Europa League. Yet Chelsea is on the downhill spiral. And this is the opportunity for Christian Pulisic to shine. And this is what Alexi Lalas had to say last week on his show. Here's part of it.
Pulisic is like a young Luke Skywalker. He is special, but he still has plenty to learn. And it remains to be seen if he will ultimately live up to the promise and potential and hope that his talent has brought with it. Following his $73 million transfer to Chelsea, hopes were high for the 21-year-old in the English Premier League. But so far, Pulisic has yet to nail down a starting spot. Worse, he's not even getting on the field. So, what you hear is the sound of the collective angst of an American soccer fan base that remains desperate for a hero on the men's side. Now, it's still early days, and all players need time to adjust to new surroundings. But what is concerning is that this Chelsea is not an elite super club version of Chelsea. It's a Chelsea being rebuilt. A Chelsea without the veteran stars we've come to expect, and a Chelsea under a new young manager in Frank Lampard that seems to be reliant on young players. In short, it's exactly the type of team that Christian Pulisic should not only be starting on, but given his Dortmund experience, a team he should be starring on. I still think Pulisic can be successful at Chelsea. Yes, we have high expectations for him. But given his talent, they're not unrealistic expectations. However, we may also have to come to terms with the fact that while Pulisic may go on to be a great American player, like Landon Donovan before him, he may never be the player you want him to be. But that's okay, because maybe somebody else will. It's tempting to see Christian Pulisic as our last hope. But, like Yoda said, there is another. Maybe we just don't know who that is yet.
That was courtesy of Alexi Lalas's State of the Union podcast. Go ahead and check that out. It's a great listen. Now, guys, I am concerned with Christian Pulisic's
Give me a percentage. Give me a percentage. What concern are we at, though? It's one thing to say I'm concerned, but is it 100%? Is it 50%?
How about 60%? I'm 60% concerned.
Arman,
I don't know what
number are you at?
But 60%.
I'm at like 30 or 35 right now.
Yeah, I'm about 45. Jake, this is your quote-unquote English team, right? They're sitting sixth in the league, 10 points behind Liverpool. This is not the most talented team, yet Christian Pulisic can't even get on the pitch, even as a sub.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because while he might not be Lampard's player, he wasn't the one who brought him into the club last year. You can also look at it and say Christian Pulisic has spent time at a massive club like Borussia Dortmund, while Mason Mount, who played at Derby County last year, didn't win anything at Derby County last year, is getting run over Christian Pulisic. You can look at it and say Willian, who this is probably his last year at Chelsea. He's old. Why is he getting playing time over a young 21-year-old in Christian Pulisic? Callum Hudson-Odoi, very promising player. Bayern Munich showed interest in him last winter. Doesn't surprise me that he's held within high regards at the club. For me, the way I look at it is Chelsea has two English players, Mason Mount and Callum Hudson-Odoi. They're both English. There's probably pressure on Frank Lampard to play these English players over the American because we would, as English fans, they would rather see the young English player develop more than the young American. And I think at the end of the day, that's the catalyst here. That's what's kind of pushing Lampard in that direction. I just, for the life of me, can't understand how Pulisic, who has experience at a massive club, is not getting play over guys like Mason Mount and Hudson-Odoi, who just don't have that experience whatsoever. It's really telling to me that Chelsea does not believe that they are playing for anything this year if they're not willing to play their $70 million man.
Jake, you know what it feels like? It just seems that Christian Pulisic is somewhat of an outsider at Chelsea Football Club. I just get that impression that he has not been able to really get both feet into the door and mingle with the players, mingle with the culture, really get with Frank Lampard and become a good buddy of his. It just feels like Frank Lampard is trying to figure out what to do with Christian Pulisic because he never signed the guy in the first place. It's not his guy. He doesn't know. He didn't understand this. He probably didn't understand the signing to begin with because Chelsea didn't have a direction. Was sorry, it was one and done, and then they went to Frank Lampard because they had a transfer ban, and what big manager wants to take over a club that can't sign players? So it was not a good situation to begin with for Christian Pulisic. And listeners, we're not there on a day-to-day basis, nor do we cover Chelsea Football Club. We cover American soccer. So while Brandon Busby, we've had him on the show before, of the London is Blue podcast in the coming weeks to give us more insight into this ordeal with Christian Pulisic.
Hey, Steven, one last thing about Pulisic. I almost wonder if the message or what's been portrayed about Christian Pulisic being this anointed American savior, if that doesn't rub people within the club the wrong way, that there's this perception that he must be handed everything because he's going to save U.S. soccer.
Well, no. Why would the club have problems with that? If anything, it should get to Christian Pulisic's head. That's the problem. Has Christian Pulisic put on so much weight on his shoulders that he can't think clearly? That he has so much pressure, he makes a bad pass, and he knows that there's a country on the other side of the pond all dependent on that one guy. If anything, that's the problem, as Lawless alluded to.
It's an interesting situation though, because look, I'm thinking about it. Forget the American side of him. I'm gonna think about him, from a hey, I'm a team bringing in a player that cost me $60 to $70 million, or however the amount is, and you're not playing him. That to me is a little concerning in terms of overall, if a club was doing this, regardless if they were American, you would have questions. Okay, why aren't they playing their sign that cost them an exuberant amount of money? That makes zero sense, And while it might not be a Lampard thing, Pulisic, he's not a Lampard guy or whatever. I mean, there has to be at least some question being asked, I know it's not your guy, but obviously we rate him this way. His market value is this, and you're not playing him.
But why does Frank Lampard have to play him?
He doesn't have to play him. I agree with you on that, but it's a little head scratching. It's either a really bad business, or something else that you don't play a guy you invested $6-7 million into.
What if they overrated him? Jake, what if
That's
they
bad
overrated?
Business.
What if they overrated Christian Pulisic?
They might have, and I think it's pretty. I mean, look, Jadon Sancho was getting playing time over Christian Pulisic last year, even when Pulisic was 100% healthy. So I do think it's entirely possible that Chelsea and a lot of the American public have overrated Christian Pulisic in that regard.
Yeah. Listeners, question of the day at Unc Sam's Soccer Pod. Are we concerned about Christian Pulisic's current standing with Chelsea Football Club? And fellas, before we get to the counterattack, Taylor Twellman tweets this out, quote, "Not surprising how misinformed and overreactive the opinions are regarding Pulisic at the top 20-30 clubs in the world. You don't get the benefit of the doubt no matter your salary or transfer fee. But, in capital letters, for those saying Pulisic is not good enough for this Chelsea team, ... stop emoji." And then in another tweet, quote, "I believe this is only going to make Pulisic better, as any and all players deal with adversity at all levels. How he deals with this will be huge for his growth. While it also could be he's, quote, not a Lampard player, very naive you thought it was going to be easy." I mean, he's right in the sense that salary, transfer free does not guarantee you playing time. The Lampard player also is part of the deal. But guys, you do have to question, is Christian Pulisic good enough for Chelsea? If he can't scratch this starting team, when everyone said this is great for Christian Pulisic because Chelsea cannot bring in replacements, you have to have some sort of what is going on here.
No, I agree, and it is a little concerning. I think a good spot to wait until is a winter transfer window. I think once it gets to that point, I think we can kind of assess what's going on. We're at a really smaller sample size right now, and once we go, towards I think that winter transfer window, I think we'll have a much more clear idea of like, okay, hey, look, like is he good enough to break into the squad? Is he not good enough to break into the squad? And we can go on from there. But yes, Steven, it is concerning because if he's not breaking into the Chelsea squad, which honestly it's relatively weak, then you honestly have to say he's not good enough for him.
But Arman, I don't even know if the winter transfer windows is a good place to wait and see what happens to him, because Chelsea they can't bring in reinforcements. They're under ban. So
not to like bring him in or anything, but like as a matter of games played.
Sure. Well, they aren't gonna. I don't think they would even consider loaning him out then if it's not working out, just because there's no. There's no reward or anything. That's exactly loss for them, so that it makes no sense. So we could be, if there's no injuries to anybody within the squad for Chelsea, we might be looking at a full year of Christian Pulisic just riding the bench and playing in the Carabao Cup every so often.
Question for you fellas. 12 seconds to answer. Is Christian Pulisic at this club come next year?
I think it's too early to tell, man. Like, I know it's a cliche answer, but I think it's way too early to tell. Again, if you ask me towards the Christmas, I might give you a better answer, but right now I can't really answer that one.
No, I think he gets loaned out next summer.
All right, well, there you go. Listeners, at Uncle Sam Soccer Pod, again, what Brandon Busby of the London is Blue podcast. Join us here in the coming weeks to talk more about this very ordeal. Now, let's get to the counterattack.
Fast-paced, shifty movement, brilliant skill. It's the counterattack with Jake Watroba.
All right, boys, it's counterattack time here on Uncle Sam Soccer Podcast. It's going to be an international edition of the counterattack. And let's talk about an ongoing conversation we've had here at the show. Steven and Arman, we'll start with Steven. I want you to rank your top 3 leagues in Europe to watch.
Yes. A continued conversation of what people watch out there. Nothing is better than the Premier League. I have to say Serie A is the second best product out there right now. And then the Swiss League. I've been tuning in and out of the Swiss League. I enjoy it. Yeah, hate me for it.
For me, when I look at the top 3 leagues to watch, I kind of have to add in the factor of how easy is it for me to put on a game? How easy is it for me to turn on one of these matches? And, like you could say La Liga is a nice league to watch, but can you really watch it on BN? I don't have BN. I've tried to find BN. I could even find a stream, so good on them for blocking streams. I couldn't watch Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. So, I mean, for me, it's the Prem. I can wake up every morning and watch it. It's great. The colors are beautiful. They're vibrant. You want to watch a game in the Premier League. The environment, I think the Premier League does a great job of showing off a spectacle. As for the Bundesliga, I love watching the crowds and how the reaction and stuff like that. It's nice in the soccer. There's a little, some of the teams are too close in terms of how good they are. But, I mean, overall, it's entertaining. And Serie A, I can just load up on ESPN Plus and watch it. And when the stadiums aren't half empty, they're pretty fun.
Well, boys, for me, it starts with the Premier League. Like you said, Arman, it's the pageantry, the atmosphere, everything about it.
NBC just does an excellent job putting it together.
They do. They do an excellent job. Now, for my second league, I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten path here. All right. I'm actually going to say the championship, the English championship. I really enjoy watching it for some stupid reason. I don't know why. But
ESPN Plus, game
it's
changer.
my go-to. It's my go-to for ESPN Plus sometimes in the morning when I just want to put on a second game when I have the Premier League going. And for my third, and I don't even watch it at this point. We're scraping the barrel for my interest in European leagues. It's really just the Premier League and a little bit of the Championship here and there. But I guess the Bundesliga, you have the Americans playing over there: Josh Sargent, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, cast of thousands. Gio Reyna soon to come at Borussia Dortmund. Those would be my top 3 leagues in Europe. But let's move on. Let's keep it in England, and let's talk Liverpool, as they are still perfect, 7-0-0, scoring 18 goals and only allowing 5. Are they the team to beat, or is it still City, despite them trailing the Reds by 5 points, Arman?
I don't know if you watched the City-Everton game, but City was a little shaky in that match, and they have a center-back crisis right now with, I think, Stones and Laporte out, and I think Fernandinho's a center-back right now. Not a great spot to be in. I think Liverpool is on fire. Jurgen Klopp has them running on all cylinders. They struggled a little bit too against Sheffield United, but I think they're a well-oiled machine at this point. I think they're in the driver's seat to win a title.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool is in the driver's seat, but you can't count out City. What they did last year was unbelievable, and for God's sake, what stops them from redoing that?
I'm counting them out. Hand the trophy to Liverpool already. That Norwich City loss will be the reason why City does not win the league again this season. I think the league is Liverpool's to lose at this point.
Jeez. That's a really hot one right there, man. Vegas changed you.
Vegas changed me. That's right. All right. Let's move on. Let's go to France. We have a 2-part question here. Let's start with part 1. Neymar, this is a really, by the way, this quote I'm about to read you guys is, for me, it's a little out there, but you let me know.
It is out there, man. It is out there.
This is just pure gold, though. This is great talk radio stuff right here.
It's a journalist's dream.
Yes.
Journalist's dream. So
Neymar has compared his relationship with PSG supporters to a romantic one and said he would give his life on the pitch for the French champions. Neymar is quoted as saying, "It is like being in a relationship with a girlfriend. When things are not going well with her, you go without speaking. However, through love, affection, and cuddling, things go back to normal." Oh, God. "I am here to help PSG, to fulfill my role as a player for this club. I will give my life on the pitch to help PSG succeed and for us to be able to celebrate together."
Is like nutmegging the cuddling going on? And scoring is the affection and the love is...
It's very apparent.
He literally means love, affection, and cuddling with a jersey from PSG. Just a nice little, cuddle.
To me, it's very apparent that when Neymar has problems in his with his relationships, he does not know how to talk them out. It's pretty clear what he's trying to do to mend the issues here. But this is a PG podcast, so we will keep it as such. So, I guess, Steven, does Neymar have a point, or is that a good comparison?
It's an excellent comparison, because everyone can manage to relate to this. Somehow you are able to relate to what Neymar is saying. Now, his relationship with the club, okay, strange one, but you understand what Neymar is saying because everyone goes through relationships.
I don't know about you, Chief, but with all the Barcelona rumors that were going on, it feels like, he tried to leave the relationship he's in for another woman that was much more attractive. That's much more attractive. But he either got a case of he got catfished or something like that, and what ended up happening is he was like, oh wow, or maybe she curved him, and he's like, oh, I guess I'll go back to my old babe. How would you feel about being a second choice? I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that either. Come on, it's a terrible comparison, Neymar. No, you don't have. It's not issues. You try to leave her. It's not like an issue. You tried to leave. And, love, affection, and cuddling, that doesn't help. Also, it just shows Neymar's terrible with relationships. I think that's a pretty key thing right there. But no, terrible Jake, comparison.
Do you like
Come on,
it?
Neymar.
Do you like it?
Building off of what Arman said, Neymar got caught in some girl's DMs. PSG found out. They didn't like it. And now he's on the... No, he's just on the forgiveness tour. He's talking about how, I'm going to cuddle you and give you some affection. No, this. First of all, I don't know how you are comparing your girlfriend or a romantic relationship with the fans of PSG. Just weird. This quote does nothing for me. I don't.
It's a great quote.
It's
we need
weird.
more of this. We need an American soccer player to say some outrageous, outlandish things like this. It'd be talked about. It'd be good press. There's no such thing as bad press.
Well, this leads me to part 2 of this discussion. Who is the biggest diva in football right now, Steven?
Oh, it's Neymar. 100% Neymar. You couldn't find a bigger diva than Neymar. And by the way, Neymar, you better get your act together because you might go down as a pretty big failure in Brazilian football if you don't act up and start winning some trophies and carry that national team like you were destined to do so.
For me, it's Serginho Dest. Pick a side, man. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of my Twitter blowing up. Please, just pick. I don't care if it's a Dutch anymore. Please. I'm just tired of my Twitter getting these updates. Oh, he talked to Ronald Koeman. I don't know what's gonna happen. Pick, please. I mean, come to the U.S., but
bro,
you
you can't tell me he's a bigger diva than Neymar with Barcelona, Real Madrid. Oh, let me slide into your
Mickey
DMs.
Mouse is back. Mickey Mouse is back.
Mickey Mouse is back, but
no,
Neymar,
but
flirting with Barcelona. Come on.
So wait. Let me change up my diva then. The biggest diva in football right now is American soccer Twitter. Has to be, right? Because all they do is they lurch on. Some
18-year-old performs well in the 3rd division of Sweden, and everyone's calling him the GOAT. That's U.S. soccer Twitter for you. Jake, biggest diva in soccer. Who do you got?
It's Neymar. I mean, that's the only right answer to this. Arman's trying to be funny and try to.
Hey, you laughed.
I did laugh, but it's Neymar. It's Neymar. He's the only diva I can think of. Maybe Cristiano Ronaldo. But I don't think he's a diva either. It's Neymar. It's Neymar. It's the way he goes about himself on the field, off the field, everything about him.
What about Pro for USA?
Well, that's a different discussion for another day. Let's move it on. Let's talk about the 2019 FIFA Men's and Women's Players of the Year, as they were announced last Monday evening. Lionel Messi edged competition, Cristiano Ronaldo and Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk to take the men's award. And fellas, did they get it right?
No, it should have been Van Dijk. Plain simple. He carried Liverpool. He was unbelievable with Liverpool. Give it to a defender. If this just continues the goals and assists, that's what carries you to these awards. Stupid. Why even have it?
No, we stand Lionel Messi. He deserved it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Lionel Messi. I get the whole. Well, what did he win? He didn't win the Champions League. He didn't win the World Cup. He didn't win this. He didn't win that. Yeah. What? Come on. He's the best player in the world. Let's be honest, you guys.
Wrong. Anyway,
he was the best player.
Hey, no controversy with Megan Rapinoe winning the award. Well, I just wanted to say that there's no controversy there. I'm on the women's side, like there is with the men's side.
None whatsoever. Now let's start some controversy here, guys. Last one up for debate here, and listeners, make sure you chime in on this one. But if you were to break down the 3 best players from North America, who would they be, Arman?
So, first off, to give some context, my original list was more based on talent, but Jake hit me with the change up, and I changed my list because Jake opened my eyes to something new. So, shout out Jake.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, shout out to Jake too.
Thank you. Both of you guys are going to steal my touchdown call before I can actually present it, so that's fine. But whatever. I'm about the team here, not about the individual. So
we're gonna do the best 3 players, including form. So number 1, Carlos Vela. Come on, crack.
I agree. Carlos Vela is also. We're gonna do this side by side, Arman.
He's fantastic, and I think he's better than Chucky right now. Just right now, obviously Chucky has more potential, but I think he's personally better. Jake, what about you?
Vela's in better form. I think Vela is currently the best player from Mexico playing in the world today.
Wait, why do you have Chucky above him on the list?
This isn't an actual ranking. These are just in no order. This is
they're notes.
There's notes. It's fine.
Okay,
don't worry.
Okay. We should have clarified. This is not a ranking of 1, 2, 3, but it makes it sound like Arman was going 1, 2, 3.
No particular order.
1, 2, 3.
No particular order. Okay.
What Arman's going in order?
We all have Carlos Vela on the list. Next.
I have Jonathan David, the Canadian. He has a grand total of 6 goals in 8 league matches in the Belgian league. He has 2 goals in qualifying, 2 goals in the Europa League. I'm impressed by what he is, and the USA could have had a chance to have him as a forward. I enjoy watching him play. It's a little bit of a change-up. Plays for Ghent. But, I think he's been really impressive in his form. And not a lot of people have been talking about him, but I promise you, if he was American, my favorite divas, American soccer Twitter, would have gone crazy about him. So,
Alphonso Davies.
I think Jonathan David.
Alphonso Davies is also on my list. He's been performing decently with Bayern Munich. He's at a big club. He seems to be integrated with the club. A lot of potential there, too. But he's pretty damn good, and he's fun to watch.
For me, we're going Chucky Lozano. Every time I've watched this guy play for Mexico, I'm going to admit I haven't watched much Serie A, but every time I've watched this kid play for L3, I have been impressed. I have thought he's been the best player on the pitch for Mexico, for the U.S. When anytime Mexico's played, the U.S., I've always just thought, God, this kid is good. This kid is much better than Christian Pulisic, and there is not as much hype behind him as there is Christian Pulisic. For me, Chucky Lozano deserves to be on this list.
I have Chucky on my list as well, Jake. But I have him, towards the end of my list. He's kind of still acclimating to Napoli, but he's an impressive player, a brilliant player. I enjoy watching him play, and when I think he gets, fully integrated into Ancelotti's system, I think he'll be a much better player and probably higher up this list.
Jake, you and I have the same third player here, Raul Jimenez. Give me your reason why, because we're probably going to agree here.
I mean, he's just one of the best. He's just one of the better goal scorers in the Premier League. I mean, that's point. I mean, you're doing it at that level. You have to be one of the best players out of the region.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, absolutely. And listeners, no American on the list, so send in your hate at Arman Kafai, at Jake Watroba, at Steven Jodrant. There you go. The counterattack. A little long in time. Listeners, hit that subscribe button at Uncle Sam Soccer Pod. Leave us a 5-star review. Send in your thoughts. Question of the day. Jake, remind me of what the question of the day was again for the listeners.
Listeners, question of the day. Are we concerned about Christian Pulisic's current standing with Chelsea? Let us know on Twitter at Unc Sam Soccer Pod. Be on the lookout later this week. We will recap this Sunday's action in MLS. We'll give you updates on the playoff picture, what's happening, what we think, who's in, who's out, that whole thing. So be on the lookout for that. That's probably coming midweek for you. You can follow the show on Twitter at Unc Sam Soccer Pod. You can follow Steven Jodrant at Steven Jodrant, and you can follow Arman Kafai at Arman Kafai, and you can follow myself at Jake Watroba. For Steven and Arman, I'm Jake. We'll talk to you guys later.